Hi everybody, this is Miss Raina. Today we're going to be going over test number 2 review. So Lily wants to grab some granola bars. At Kroger, you can get 6 strawberry and 4 cherry together for $6.90. At Sam's Club, you can get 5 strawberries and 9 cherry for $9.15. How much is each granola bar individually? Well, first thing we need to label our variables. So we're going to let X be our strawberry, and Y be our cherry. Okay, so if I want to represent how much I can get at Kroger, I'm going to say Kroger, we can get 6 strawberry, 4 cherry for $6.90. So 6x plus 4y equals $6.90. So if I'm looking at my answer choices, I notice that answer choice A says 6x minus, and I don't want that, so that one can be eliminated. I look at answer choice B, it says $6 or 6x plus 4y equals $6.90, so that is a possibility. If we look at answer choice C, 10xy equals $6.90. That doesn't even make any sense, so we don't want that one. And answer choice D says 6x plus 4y equals $9.15. Well, it should equal $6.90, so that doesn't work, which means our answer is B. Okay? So, looking at the next question. A system of inequalities is graphed. Which system of inequalities does the graph represent? Well, let's look at our lines. This line right here is a dotted line. Which means it needs either a less than or a greater than inequality symbol. If I look at the second line, this one right here, that is a solid line, which means I need a less than or equal to or a greater than or equal to. So that means that I need to have 2 different inequalities. If I look at answer choice A, both inequalities don't have a line, which means they would both be dotted, so that answer choice would not work. If I look at answer choice B, I have 2 different inequalities, so that is a possibility. If I look at answer choice C, notice my inequality signs are the same. They both have lines underneath, so that will not work. And if we look at answer choice D, it looks like I have a line and a no line, which means a solid and a dotted. So what I need to determine is, how should I shade? Well, for the pink line, we ended up shading below. And for the blue line, we ended up shading above. Well, if I'm going to shade above, it has to open towards the Y. If I shade below, it has to open away from the Y. So if I look at my answer choices, answer choice B opens towards the Y for the solid line, which is what we want, and away from the Y for the dotted line. So answer choice B would be our correct answer. If we look at D, it said we would shade below for the solid line and above for the dotted line, and that's not going to work in our situation. Okay. Number 3, which of the following is a possible solution to the system of inequalities graphed? Okay, so we want a possible solution, which means it needs to fall in the overlapping shaded area. That's this darker purple-ish pink. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to plot each answer choice. So I'm going to start by plotting 3, -4. This is my x value, this is my y value. So I go over 3, I'm going to go down 4, and it lands right there. Okay, it is on a dotted line, and dotted lines don't work. So that answer choice is eliminated. Answer choice B, 0, 2. So I stay at 0, I go up 2, Okay, that's not in any shaded area, so that answer choice is eliminated. Answer choice C, 1, 2. So I go over 1, up 2. Okay, that again is on a dotted line. It does not work. That's eliminated, which leaves us with only D, but let's go ahead and check 3, 1. So I go over 3, up 1, oops. And that ends up on a solid line. And it works on a solid line as long as it's where both areas would be shaded, and this one is. Okay, so answer choice D would work. Number 4, the expression p to the negative 10th times p to the 4th is equivalent to p to the h. What is the value of h? Record your answer. So what we do, since we are multiplying right here, we're going to take the exponents and we're going to add them. So when I add, it looks like negative 10 plus 4. And you could type that into your calculator, and when you do that, you get p to the negative 6th power. Well, it's saying that it's equivalent to this p to the h, so we want to know what the exponent is. Our exponent is negative 6, so I'm going to say h equals negative 6. And that's it. Okay, looking at question number 5, which expression is equivalent to 56x to the 4th, y to the 7th, divided by 7y squared x? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight each constant the same color, the x variable is the same color, and the y variable is the same color, so I can see the different terms that I have. So I have 56 and 7. Those are my constants. I have x to the 4th and x to the 1st. Go ahead and write that in. And then my y variables, I have y to the 7th and y squared. So step 1, we divide the coefficients. Okay, so that is 56 divided by 7. That gives me 8. Step 2, I am going to subtract the exponents. So remember, we have to subtract x with x, y with y. So I would have 4 minus 1. And for the y's, I would have 7 minus 2. Well, 4 minus 1 is 5. 7 minus 2, not 5. Miss Faina can't do math, I'm sorry. 4 minus 1 is 3. And 7 minus 2 is 5. So I look at my answer choices. And it looks like it would be C and D would be canceled out. Okay, that subtracted the coefficients, and we don't want to do that. B does not work. Okay, that would be if we subtracted the x and the y together. So it looks like answer choice A, which we already knew that. So there we go. It's the only one that matches what we came up with right here. Okay, number 6. Which expression is equivalent to negative 4m cubed to the 4th power times m squared? So when you see something like this, we're going to focus on this little chunk first. Okay, so focusing on this little piece first. So I have a power to a power. Remember, the negative 4 has an exponent of 1, so I'm going to distribute that to it. So 1 times 4 would be 4, so I have a negative 4 to the 4th power. And then I'm going to take 4 and multiply it by 3. So I get m to the 3 times 4 power. So in my calculator, I'm going to type in negative 4 to the 4th power. We have to make sure that we use parentheses. So when I go over to my calculator, I hit new calculator. I do my parentheses, negative 4, close the parentheses, and then I'm going to hit this x with the empty box to the 4th power, and I get 256. Okay, If we did not use parentheses, we would get a negative 256, and then you would be asking us, why did I get a negative and there's not a negative answer choice? So make sure you always use parentheses when we're talking about raising negative numbers to an exponent. So that gave me 256, which automatically lets me eliminate answer choice A and B. Okay, now I need to check my exponents. So I multiply 3 times 4, I get 12. But we're not done, okay? Because we have to drop down this other one that we haven't used yet, the m squared. Now I'm multiplying, and when I multiply, I take the exponents and I add them. So I need to add 12 plus 2. And when I do that, I get 256m. 12 plus 2 is 14, which means my answer is C. And that's it. Looking at the next one, the graph of the linear function g is shown on the grid. Which of the following best describes the range of this function? Well, this is where we need to remember Dr. X, Y. And when we talk about Dr. X, Y, the D and the X go together, the R and the Y go together, which tells me my range is my Y values. And when I'm reading Y values, I go from the bottom to the top. Bottom to top. Now, when I look at this graph, I notice that I have one point at -4, -5, and then I have an arrow, which means it's going to keep going. So I just have one stop. Now, let's take a look at my answer choices. Okay, if I'm talking about the range, I want the Y values, which means I'm going to use -5. So I can eliminate answer choice A that uses -4 and answer choice C that uses -4. Now, what I need to understand is, are my Y values getting bigger than -5 or smaller? Well, if it starts at -5 and it always goes up, that means my values are getting bigger. So I want my inequality sign to open up towards the Y, which in this case, the Y is represented by f of x. So I want it to say f of x is greater than or equal to -5 because I have a closed circle. So that means answer choice D is eliminated because that says it's less than, and we're not going down. So that would be our answer choice. Okay. Now, the next one, what is the Y value in the solution to this system of equations? Be careful because it says what is the value of Y. We want the Y value. So we're going to use our calculator, and we're going to do menu 3, 2. And then we're going to type in our equation. This one's going to go in the first box that comes up. This will go in the second box that comes up. So I'm going to switch over to the calculator. So menu or the toolbar, algebra, that's 1, 2, 3 down. And solve system of linear equation, that's 1, 2 down, so 3, 2. Okay, my variables are x and y. I have 2 equations. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to go ahead and put my notes on top because I've already forgotten the numbers. So my first box, I'm typing in 2x minus y equals 4. And in my second box, I'm typing in 3x minus 2y equals 3. So again, I'm going to double check. 2x minus y equals 4. 3x minus 2y equals 3. Perfect. So I want to go ahead and get rid of my notes. See if I can do this. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to hit enter, and it tells me my answer is 5, 6. So I'm going to go back to the notes. So again, it told me my answer was 5, 6. Okay, And I want the y value, which means it's just 6. Okay. Looking at the next one, there was a mistake right here. That should be a 4. There we go. It says, the table given represents some points from a linear function g. What is the rate of change for the line g? Well, rate of change means slope. And the variable we use for slope is m. So what we have is a table, and we want to find the slope. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our calculator and do list and spreadsheets. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to my calculator. I'm going to go home, discard my changes, or no, I don't want to save, new, list and spreadsheet. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of setting up first. So right next to A, we're going to type in X and press enter. And right next to B, we're going to type in Y and press enter. Okay, I'm going to skip that row that has the equal sign. And now I'm going to put my notes on top so I can see them. Okay, and I'm going to type it in. Everything in the X column under X. So I have 42, 22, negative 18, negative 38. And then everything under Y, under our Y column. 0, 1, 3, and 4. So now that I have everything put in, I'm going to go ahead and hopefully get rid of my notes. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to come over here, make sure I'm not clicked into any box where I'm typing stuff. And I'm going to hit menu or the toolbar. I'm going to go down to number 4, which is statistics. Then number 1, stat calculations. And then number 3, linear regression mx plus b. 4, 1, 3. Now, X list, I change it to where it says X. Y list, I change it to where it says Y. And then I just hit OK. And again, I'm looking for the rate of change, which we said was m. So I look, and my rate of change m is a negative 0.05. So I'm going to go ahead and write that in my notes. Negative 0.05. So go back to my Kahoot review. There we go. M equals negative 0.05. And that would be my final answer. So whenever we're doing stuff like this, if it gives it to you as a decimal and it wants you to type in an answer, then keep it as a decimal. But if it wants you to compare it to a fraction, change your fractions to decimals and match them up that way. Okay, number 10. Which graph best represents negative 10y equals a negative 12x minus 30? Well, first thing we need to do is get y by itself so we can graph it in the calculator. So I have negative 10 times y. Well, opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide everything by negative 10. So negative 10y divided by negative 10 is just that 1y. And in my calculator, I'm going to type in negative 12 divided by negative 10 to see what that simplifies to. So I'm going to my calculator, I'm going home, discard my changes, or no, I don't want to save, and I want to go to the calculator feature. And again, I am doing negative 12 divided by negative 10. And when I do that, I get a positive 6 over 5. Positive 6 over 5. Because two negatives make a positive in the math world. And then I have negative 30 divided by negative 10. Negative 30 divided by negative 10. Type that in. I get a positive 3. Positive 3. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to put plus 3. And now I am going to type this into my calculator, but only the stuff after the equal sign. Okay, so that is what's going to type into my calculator, and then I'm going to compare that graph with the 4 options I have here. So 6/5 x plus 3. So we go back to our calculator one last time. We're going to go home, discard my changes, or no, I don't want to save, and I want a new graph. Okay, so I have 6/5 x plus 3. I press enter. So this is what my graph looks like. Looking at a few things, it's going up from left to right. It's going through the y-intercept at a positive 3. So let's look at our answer choices. Well, first off, if I'm talking about my graph going up from left to right, that means answer choice A is a no-go because it's going down. And answer choice B is also going down, so that is a no-go. Now it's between C and D, and we said we wanted it to go through positive 3 on the y-axis, which leaves me with only answer choice D because C goes through negative 3. So that's it. So again, you solve for y, and then you type it into the calculator to see which graph matches your answer choices. So that's it for the review. I hope this helps you prepare for the test better. If you have any questions, please make sure you reach out to your teacher. Other than that, have a great day, Rangers.